Peace, 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 peace to the family. Peace to the family, peace to the family. Pardon me for my tardiness. All right. Had to get some things together, but we are here. We in the building. Yes, we are. We running up in here. Let's run these numbers up. Let's go ball. Let me know how we sound on the audio. Let me check my audio. All right, we sounding good. Okay. You. Okay, we sounding good. We
good, bro.
Okay, y'all right. We in the building. We in the Skrildon. We in the Skrildon. Okay, okay. Once welcome. You already
Hall in the
know.
building.
Let's do the motherfucking roll call, man. Let's go. Let's not even waste no time.
You know the
Let's do the
vibes.
roll call, man. We in the building. I'm gonna wait for people to come in here. But as we coming up in here, let's just get it popping and see who is in here. I put together a very powerful presentation. So we're gonna cook today. You know what I mean? There's so much going on with so little time to put things together. But we definitely got ourselves a classic in the bag. So we're gonna sit back and we're gonna cook. Just have your pens and pads on deck. We're gonna go through a lot of information. But yeah, we here, you know. Mm-hmm. We got Louisville in the building. All right. Shout out to Louisville. It's been a minute since I wanna take a trip back to Louisville, spend some time out there. You know, I like the vibe. Nashville, what's good, Nashville? Harlem, you already know. Harlem, 1111 Harlem. You see the flyer behind me? I will be in New York. You know what I'm talking about? I will be in New York. I'm outside, BK, Nicholas. You feel me?
You see
On
you
11.
red.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so.
No,
11.
I said we can't see you on the screen.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, I'm changing the background up. 11/11. I will be in New York City. So shout out to everybody in the city. I look forward to seeing y'all. I'll be at Nicholas, Brooklyn. We are going to be doing this 11/11 conscious economics. Now, leading up to the actual event, of course, we are going to be doing some deep diving and things of that nature. And we'll be presenting some shows to touch on the topics and whatnot. And Nicholas Brooklyn, they also are offering live stream. So you have the opportunity to live stream the situation. What up, Norfolk? Norfolk is in the building. You dig? Norfolk is in the building. Let me change this background, then I'm gonna do the roll call. I'm just looking for this flyer real quick so I could, change the background. The flyer that we got is kind of fuego. So we just gotta throw that in there. Mm-hmm. Damn, where'd that shit go? Lord have mercy. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna have the sound effects and some other shit back. Give it to about Monday. I also wanted to propose something to the audience, an idea that I'm entertaining and whatnot. And that involves doing live studio audience. I'm about to have a meeting tomorrow with a company out here in Atlanta, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna see if we could take this Third Eye Thursdays and Melanin Mondays, this little thing that I started in my living room, well, in my room, all the way back in Harlem and whatnot. We may take this thing to a higher level, and when I say higher level, I mean like on the level of a higher level. Podcast, more of a podcast with a more traditional setup, 3 cameras. It may have to be post edited. I don't know how the people feel about that because I know that sometimes we comfortable with what we got. So I'm definitely gonna turn to the KT aliens to see how y'all feel about that. Cause I remember I did something in 2020 where it was like a live studio audience. Y'all wasn't feeling me on that. I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. Y'all wasn't feeling me on that. Y'all didn't really fuck with me on that. But this one right here, you know, it should be promising. You dig? It should be promising. So yeah, because you know, it's a networking experience. I get to bring people in Atlanta outside because they be, I don't know where they be at during the weekday. I don't really know where it is to go in Atlanta, you know, conscious wise or weekly, you know what I mean, where people could network, you could get merch, you could build with, you know what I mean? So we may entertain that. Winter is coming, the seasons are changing and whatnot. It's good to take things indoors. So I'll keep you up to date with everything. We'll put the poll on Patreon. So keep going to Patreon every day. I upload new things to Patreon every single day. You'll get drips of things that they took off of the YouTube. I'll slowly be putting it on the Patreon, uploading classic episodes. I got the episodes with Kaba. I got the episodes with Rabin up there. I got the episodes, the last few Melanin Mondays up there, because everything is somewhat connected. All the way back, going all the way back when I started talking about the Wagner Group in Africa, remember, dealing with Russia and whatnot. All of those shows going back, and even some before that, but definitely from that point up to where we are now, damn near everything has a connection to it. You know, we're gonna explore that. You feel me? We're gonna explore that. We're gonna touch slightly on some things tonight in that regards. All right. So let me do the call. Let me do the roll call and whatnot. Let me do the roll call for the fam in the building. You know what I'm talking about? So we got Nashville in the building. You know, we got Harlem in the building. You know what I mean? We got Clayton in the building, Norfolk in the building, Detroit in the building. Yeah, what's goody? Yeah, I mean, we got Washington State, we got Virginia. Virginia's for lovers. Shout out to Virginia and whatnot. So y'all are all legends. You know what I mean? Everybody that's here, I really want to say as we move forward, yeah, you know, the numbers will grow. More people will find out about this and whatnot. There's a lot of people looking for me on YouTube, and I'm getting a lot of inboxes on Instagram. People are really upset, you know, and they're taking it maybe harder than I might have taken it, with the channel not being there and whatnot. And you know, it's sometimes it feels like that's an attack. You know what I mean? Certain people are taking it personal. It feels like there was an assault that took place. But I'm here to let you know we're not gonna take none of that shit personal. We're not gonna cry over spilt milk. A new channel eventually will get built up back on the YouTube, but it probably will have different type of material. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But what I do know, and what I can tell you, and what I am 100% sure, well, 99.9% sure about, is that this shit ain't going nowhere. Melanin Monday and Third Eye Thursdays is not going nowhere. And the thousands upon thousands of people who have access to this platform is going to triple. That's what I could tell you, and I could guarantee you that. Just watch me cook. You know what I mean? Just watch. Have faith. I just faith will move things in a great direction. You dig? So let's have faith in each other, because I got faith in you, so have faith in us. But what's the most important is the fact that y'all are here. You feel me? That y'all holding it down with me, that y'all pulling up, and that you are showing me that, yeah, this shit is important to me. So we're gonna get this Third Eye Thursday. We're gonna get this Melanin Monday. You know what I mean? We're gonna get Blue. I'm even talking to Blue about starting a weekly show as well. You know what I mean? And then when we see the numbers grow, I could go to KT, because you know I can't go to KT until the numbers is up. KT, you know, he drive a hard bargain. You know what I'm talking about? I can't go to KT with little man numbers. You know, even though that's my little brother, he got 5 children. So, you know, we got to come to each other and make it right. But I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. I need to get into this presentation because, you know, we're not gonna be here all night. You feel me? So today's episode, right? First of all, like I said, sound effects will be back. And we got to figure out how to play the music and shit like that. The intro. I know y'all missed the intro. This is not StreamYard. This is Zoom. So Zoom is a little bit different in terms of the back office and the way that you could set things up. The software that I was using, StreamYard, that's another thing too. That's another thing too that we might have to talk about moving forward. StreamYard allows me to stream to my own platform, right? Which would be like my own website. And it allows me to stream to Twitch. And I got a backup YouTube channel, you know what I mean? But I'm not fucking with that right now. To be just to keep it a buck with you, like I'm kind of cool on the YouTubian thing because, like I said, that's imagine somebody taking your house from you and then you be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna open up the bando next. Nah, I'm good. I'm looking at options. So Twitch, I know y'all don't be playing video games like that, but I'm looking at some people that's coming to me about some Twitch money and whatnot. So I might do something with Twitch, but theoretically, I could make my own shit. Yeah, Twitch is litty, right? I don't play video games though. So do they have people just talking and you not playing video games? Because I think it's litty for the streamers. I'm not. Would I have to get back into video games? Because I did start out playing when I was young. Would I have to get back into the shit? Like, would I have to pull up Tecmo Bowl and I would be the Twitch. I would be the Twitch, the OG Twitch head. You know what I'm talking about? I would be Nintendo. I would do Gyromite and Duck Hunt. I'll be on that type of Twitch time. I'll be playing motherfucking 8-bit while niggas is playing advanced weaponry and Halo and shit. I'm playing Super Mario Original Mushrooms. You dig? It's the same. Yeah, I could do the same thing that I'm doing now. Right. Yeah. We're gonna turn up on Twitch. Cause to be honest with you, I actually have me and Blue Pill, we got scanned for the metaverse. Like not just scanned for the metaverse. We just I don't know. I'll take y'all to my page before we done and we'll look at this shit. But I literally went, nah, fuck that. Let's go now. I literally went and got scanned like a video game the other day. You feel me? So I'm gonna be able to enter that world very soon. You know what I mean? Like there's a process to it. And when I talk about scan like a video game, what I'm talking about for everybody that plays video games, when you play Madden and when you play NBA 2K, those are real players who've been scanned, right? They've been digitized. You're aware of that. I don't have to tell you that because you could tell from the graphics and just the way that the actual play of the game is that's what it is, So, it's a process, you know what I'm saying? But it's a process that I was introduced to, and it's an expensive process. Hold on. Let me show you. Yeah, I could use OBS. I could definitely use OBS and make it real fly and customize. Check this out. Hey, y'all. VR. That's it right. That's it right there. That shit scans you in, y'all. Put you right in a video game. Bankhead. This is the facility right here, right? This is in Atlanta. This is Marvel. Marvel built this. Marvel studio. That's that good AI, nigga. That's the new Meta headset right there, the VR. Look at the drip. Yeah, I get the idea. Yeah, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I get the idea. You know what I mean? So me and Blue had the opportunity to really step it up and, see some shit bigger than YouTube, to be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't develop a show that's probably running into like almost $1 million and whatnot. I wouldn't develop a show and premiere it on YouTube. No disrespect to YouTube. If I'm going anywhere, I'm gonna start out at Tubi. That's the bottom, but it's monetizable and more monetizable than a fucking YouTube check. I'm talking numbers that y'all probably don't care about because that's not something that you into. But take it from me, um, in this new realm of what they call content creation or the monetization of content creation. I'm going headstrong and I'm bullish on my intellectual property and my assets. I want to own my shit. I've given up enough stuff to these $1 trillion companies and got nothing in return. I want to own my data because I understand what I could do with it and I know how important ownership is. So this is not even ownership. Me on Zoom is not fucking ownership. You know what I mean? But when you talk of ownership, then you got to talk production. When you talk of ownership, then you got to talk bigger levels than just doing something off of a webcam. So this shit is cute that we doing right here, but as with everything, we got to grow. We have to grow. Even if that growth is uncomfortable, we got to get out of our comfort zone and we have to burst through. You know what I mean? We gotta rip ourselves out the plastic. You dig? We got to rip ourselves out the plastic. For those who need help with ancestry, tap in with me. I have somebody that I could get you in touch with. Okay, they can help you out with that. And we're not talking about DNA tests more, so we're talking about genealogy. You know what I mean? Taking it a bit deeper than actual DNA. So let us continue and let us start this presentation. Okay. And this is the Great Fall. I present to you the Great Fall. All right. Very important to note. Very important to note, y'all. This conversation that we having about Israel, right? Or is it real? Like Rabin says so famously. We kind of started this conversation, not started it, but around the time of the dark matter time and promotion, early September, right? Late August, the dog days of summer and things of that nature. We was in our bag. Dog days decoded with me and Blue Pill. When in Rome, right? Definitely dog days decoded. Definitely dark matter timing. Definitely when in Rome. We touched on a lot of things that are going on. We touched on it ahead of time, but when it comes to me and Blue's work, you have to revisit the work later on. Months later, you got to go back to it because it is considered to be ahead of its time. And that's no braggadocio. I'm just showing you the best way to research and get the best out of what we do. Revisit anything that I did years ago because they age well in time. They're not time sensitive. The information is very organic, and it ages well, right? So it's the same concept as wine. Go back to the lectures, especially if you a KT alien and you bought a ticket for something and you paid for one of these webinars or these lectures or these classes. Anything that I did with Al Kibalon, go and revisit it. Okay, that's very important. Anything that I did dealing with the Fear of a Black or More Messiah series, American God series, go back to that. Go and revisit that. You know, damn near all of the stuff that I did in 2020 from around the time when before I left Harlem all the way up into the end of 2020, lit, and the 2020 conjunction 12 2020, we was cooking from all the way then to then. So, you know, treat yourself. All right, treat yourself. So yeah, Third Eye Thursdays, episode 190, The Great Fall 7, featuring Red Pillar. You already know what it is. Let me know if y'all can hear this, right? Before we even begin, I want us all to remember, right? Because we want to dispel anything about, yo, what this got to do with us, Red? You know, you know me. I ain't no bandwagon type of person. I was talking global affairs before that shit became, fashionable, before the ambulance chases started going global. You feel me? Before they started using this as a clout chase, we've been going geopolitical. Okay. What I want to remember though is shit that we be forgetting. Because once again, I'm very aware that my audience, a lot of y'all wasn't born around the same times that I was born in and whatnot. But for those of us who were alive, shit done happen, but we forget about it. I watched this video and I remember it reminded me that there was a time in Israel where they was about to achieve some type of peace. There was actually a time where they were going to achieve peace, and some shit broke out. Some shit broke out and stopped it. There was an assassination and it stopped that shit dead in its tracks. Skirt, skirt, skirt. You know what I mean? And we never heard about the Middle East and peace after that. That shit went right out the window. They clapped homie right after his speech. Blah. And they went and they went into war mode when the war hawks came in. Your boy Netanyahu. Yeah, the three-headed monster lecture. With the blood moon outside. Talk black to me. Remember that? That was at Nicholas. Shout out to Cafunia. Yeah, man. We're gonna drop the link for Nicholas so y'all can get y'all tickets and whatnot. Like I said, we're gonna be doing live stream. So you don't gotta be in Brooklyn. You could be in El Segundo and turn up with us. You feel me? But that's gonna be a classic one right there. We got Uncle Hank in the building, Lloyd Strayhorn. That's just the supporting cast. They just there to hold it down, you know. But New York need that. They need that feeling back. I don't know how they getting by and whatnot, but I'm gonna come back and bring the feeling, if not just for the night. You know what I'm talking about? So let me stop running my mouth. This right here is the story that I'm talking about. Tell me if you could hear it. Hold on, my bad. Yeah, I was able to hear that.
No.
Couldn't hear it.
Nope.
It's very low, Blue. Very, very low.
Red, not blue. All right, let's see something. Let me see something.
My bad. Sorry.
No, you good. You good. Let me see something.
The prospects for a broader Israeli-Palestinian peace deal seemed further away than ever. But 30 years ago, that peace appearing on the cusp after decades of conflict.
In May of 1948, a new Jewish state, Israel, was born in a bath of blood.
Neighboring Arab states launching a...
Let me bring it back.
As Israel and Hamas descend further into war, the prospects for a broader Israeli-Palestinian peace deal seem further away than ever. But 30 years ago, that peace appearing on the cusp after decades of conflict.
In May of 1948, a new Jewish state, Israel, was born in a bath of blood.
Neighboring Arab states launching a war against Israel after it was founded. The international community envisioning a Palestinian state too, but Israel fighting with Arab countries in conflicts like the Six-Day War and Yom Kippur War, alongside clashes with Palestinians, preventing that state from fully emerging. One of Israel's fiercest soldiers in those years, Rabin, growing into a warrior of peace after being re-elected prime minister in 1992.
Rabin spent many years in the Israeli Defense Forces. He knew the cost of war better than most.
Rabin opening a door to negotiations with Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat's Palestinian Liberation Organization, or PLO. At that time, the PLO designated a terrorist group by the United States, and a tumultuous Palestinian uprising called the First Intifada in full swing. After months of preliminary talks, Rabin reluctantly met Arafat in Washington.
Bill Clinton had to coach him along and say, I know this isn't easy. I know this has been your enemy for a long, long time, but here's our opportunity, and we should grab it.
The two, once bitter adversaries, shaking hands, and their delegations signing the Oslo Accord.
Enough of blood and tears. Enough.
The difficult decision we reached together was one that required great and exceptional courage.
The PLO would recognize Israel's right to exist, and Israel would begin transitioning control of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank to Palestinians. The deal, just the beginning for Rabin. Israel signed a peace treaty with Jordan in 1994, and another Oslo Accord with Arafat in 1995.
What could be the most promising step yet toward peace in the Arab lands that Israel has occupied since the 1967 war.
That November, Rabin speaking at a giant rally for peace in Tel Aviv. But just as he left the stage, tragedy.
4 or 5 shots rang out and Rabin collapsed into the arms of his security men.
Rabin killed not by a Palestinian, but by a 24-year-old Israeli extremist who opposed the peace process. A blood-stained paper found in his jacket pocket. On it, lyrics of Shir LaShalom, or a song for peace. He sang on stage just moments before his death. In the days following, a national moment of silence.
At 2 o'clock this afternoon, the city of Jerusalem ground to a halt.
Rabin's death shocking the world.
The world has lost one of its greatest men, a warrior for his nation's freedom, now a martyr for his nation's peace. Very shocked for this awful, terrible crime.
The fallout of that traumatic loss inflaming hardliners on both sides of the conflict.
Rabin's assassination was a tremendous blow to the peace process.
Israel soon drifting rightward in the vacuum of a strong leader pushing for peace.
You had Israelis with profound doubts about the wisdom of negotiating with the PLO. And Bibi Netanyahu was at the forefront of those with those doubts.
Netanyahu coming to power for the first time in 1996. Violence soon flared back up. Bus bombings as part of 2 more intifadas that killed thousands. Israeli settlement construction ramping up. More peace proposals falling flat. A blockade of Gaza, and now another war. But when this war someday ends, perhaps a new generation of leaders will look back at this moment, recognize how close peace felt, and be inspired by some of Rabin's last words. In every central square of every city, scream out and cheer, only for peace.
Yeah, so we have a case once again, of another mass shooter, right? This man was born on 4/4, okay? And I believe he's currently on the run as we speak, okay? He's currently on the run as we speak, armed and dangerous, fits the same profile of the last mass shooter, right? He was detained for mental evaluation, right? He had voices in his head, okay? This is something that you hear repeated by these MK Ultra Manchurian candidate, these individuals who basically just snap, and they have the same, it's almost like a rehearsed, they say the same thing for each one of them. Oh, they were a quiet person, everybody, didn't nobody, Then he just snapped one day. So this is in Maine, okay? Maine happens to have a very large.
Last night, October 25th at approximately 6:56 p.m., the Auburn Communications Center received a 911 call of a male shooting in just-in-time, or the spare time, recreation center in the town of Lewiston, located at 24 Mollison Way in Lewiston. Shortly after that, at about 7:08 p.m., the communications center received multiple 911 calls about an active shooter inside of a Schmenge's Billiards at 553 Lincoln Street in the town of Lewiston. A large law enforcement response from multiple surrounding agencies assisted the Lewiston Police Department in trying to identify who this individual was and what was happening. As you can imagine, this was a very fast-paced, fast-moving, very fluid scene, very dangerous scene that these guys and girls were going into. 18 people are now deceased at this time. The victims at the just-in-time establishment, 7 people are deceased there, 1 female and 6 males, all from an apparent gunshot wound. Victims at the Schmegley's Billiards, 8 are deceased. 7 males inside the establishment, 1 male outside of the establishment. Again, also apparent gunshot wounds. Multiple people were transferred to area hospitals, Central Maine Medical Center, St. Mary's, and Maine Medical Center. 3 people that were transferred to those hospitals are deceased, for a total of 18 people deceased at this time. The investigation into the person responsible for this identified a vehicle located at the Projepscott boat landing in Lisbon. That person, through the registration of that vehicle, is identified, as been stated earlier, as a Robert Card, born in 1983. Several of the deceased have been identified, and their families, next of kin, have been notified. Approximately 8 people at this point have been identified. 10 people, 10 of these victims still need to be identified at this time. Currently, there is an arrest warrant for 8 counts of murder for Mr. Card. And the reason it's 8 counts because 10 people have not yet been identified. As those people are identified, the counts will probably go to the total of 18. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Based on our investigation, we believe this is someone that should not be approached. This is someone that should be, if you come into any contact with this individual or someone that you think looks like this individual, you were to call 911, and I'll provide some tip line numbers at the conclusion of my briefing. Lewiston Police Department, federal, state, county, and other local municipalities are involved in a coordinated search at this moment for this individual. So the ongoing investigation and there's a search to apprehend this person both happen simultaneously. Can't stress this enough. This is an ongoing investigation in the early stages. More information will come out in conjunction with the Attorney General's office as the lead prosecutor. We can't share all of our information right now, and I'm sure you understand that. I'm going to give out two numbers that go to a tip line. 911 is also appropriate for this, but if anyone can call these two numbers, this would go to the state police tip line. Area code 207-213-9526, 207-509-9002.
Yeah, so as you can see, there seems to be, yeah, you see the way that they're talking about him, like he's just basically on a run. Lame shit, right? Shout out to the legend East 49. He pointed out that Lewiston, Maine is on a 44th parallel, right? Anybody that's been following the conversation that Ross Ben has been having about the 40th parallel, and anybody that follows the law of 44 with the blue pillar, you dig, then you know about the importance of the 44. Blue even broke something down. Let me go to his Instagram page and read what he wrote about this situation, because he went in as well. It just speaks to me, you know. It just speaks to me. It really does, you know. There's always a mass shooting that pops up on the timeline. This is the 500th for this year, matter of fact, you know, FYI. This is the 500th of US mass shooting, right? So this shit is like 2 a day, that they doing like 2 a day damn near. So, you know, this is nothing different. But the ones, these mass shootings, they always follow this pattern. And the pattern always coincides with, you know, the flare-ups that are going on in the Middle East and whatnot. So one of the two can't, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like they're inescapable. But here you have another mass shooting. I don't know exactly who the people were that this person, Robert Card, right? So Robert Card was committed to a mental hospital after hearing voices. He's a firearms instructor who spent 2 weeks in mental health facility this summer before killing at least 22 people, right? So Blue Pill said in his post, "Why didn't I wake up to alerts of a domestic terrorist mass shooting? The deadliest this year, by the way. Why isn't he designated as what he is? Didn't he just terrorize the community of Maine?" Right, the way they talking, listen how they talking. These niggas are not talking like there's some, like something's going on.
Last night, October 25th, transferred to area hospitals, Central Maine Medical Centers. Reason it's 8 counts because 10 people have not yet been identified as those people are.
That's bullshit. I never heard nothing like that. What are you talking about? It's people locked up right now for John Doe's and whatnot, and they got charged with that. What is he talking about? Yeah, somehow he magically gets away. Get out of here. This is definitely very, very fishy. I want you to look at this individual, though. He looks Israeli, though. If you look at his phenotype, he looks like, you know, he has that look. All of these people that have come through, I don't want to be a fearmonger. I don't want to get anybody excited and whatnot. But you just got to have your head on swivel right now. So Ra'aku on the show, the last show that we did on YouTube, that'll be a legendary show called The Aftermath of the Ring of Fire. He predicted this. He said that this was about to happen in Scorpio season. Now look at this, the biggest, you know, we're not here keeping scores and whatnot, but we are definitely reporting like a reporter would. So this is the biggest mass shooting of the year, right? And Ra'aku talked about it on last week's show. So Raku said this event concurred with the transiting sun crossing the eclipse station, Jupiter station, midpoint, partil the eclipse Mars station at 1 degree of Scorpio. Mars, which is violence, shooting. Scorpio, life loss. Transiting sun activating the eclipse station, Jupiter station, midpoint, the bowling alley where it took place as the sun points to recreational activity and sun plus Jupiter. The manhunt that's going underway in search of this criminal on the run, right? So Blue said, didn't he just drop 20 plus bodies? He shot babies too. I mean, beheadings are awful, but have you ever seen what an AR will do to a head at close range? Did they respond by flattening his parents' home with bombs because they couldn't find him? Why don't they sound the alarm on domestic terrorism? Why isn't there some sort of connection being made about ex-military men who end up with mental health issues and go to hospitals, then reemerge as mass shooters? What pattern is that? Psychotropic drugs do more damage to brains than radicalized religion, it would seem, but definitely the combination of both is a deadly mixture. Oh, and he's a 44 resonator. No surprises there. 44 is the number for military and shootings and Mars. So this Scorpio season is a triggering one for trigger-happy, mentally unstable lone wolf shooters. Just what would it take for this country to call one of their own a terrorist? Inquiring minds want to know. So yeah, this is a crock of shit, right? This is one of their games and whatnot. I'm calling BS on this. You dig? This is something that we're going to be looking at with a super side eye. Okay. This area over in Maine, right, is home to a large Somali and a Bantu region, okay, a Bantu migration. So in 1999, they started to resettle these Somalians, right? You ever go into these towns in Bubblefuck America and it'll have a community of people from countries that you be like, how did that happen? Or where did that come from? Or why do we have the Dogon niggas at Dunkin' Donuts? You feel me? In Vermont? That happens because of deals that take place through United Nations and other global bodies and whatnot. They resettle villages, they resettle groups of people, especially in these places that they've basically pillaged for their wealth and their riches, some of the richest places on the planet. Okay. Like we're gonna touch on with the Gaza Strip, right? $1 trillion, multi-trillion dollar property. I'm gonna show you. Okay. All of these places that get this, the people get displaced because they standing on top of unimaginable wealth. Unimaginable wealth. Places like Maine, right? These towns, let me go back. These are all Indian towns, Maine, right? Maine was one of the main people that were making some of the ships and whatnot that were taking people from the Americas all the way up there into Europe. Okay? This is all indigenous land. You dig? So the Somalians come back to Maine. You know, sometimes people, you know, it's weird how these tribes go in circles, but sometimes people come back to where they from. But I know that there's a lot of Somalians out there. Okay? There's a lot of them out there. So when I hear about Palestine, one thing really sparks in my mind that when the year started and they was throwing that East Palestine train derailment thing around so much, I always said to myself, damn, the way that they summon it, it's like they're conjuring up Palestine, right? For an explosion. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they're conjuring up the whole Palestine, just conjuring up Palestine train explosion and they was showing that shit blowing up and everything. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna keep my eye on Palestine. And later on, lo and behold, later on down the line, a few months later, Palestine is getting destroyed, blown to smithereens, leveled, demolished. You know, the level of rebuilding that they're gonna have to do in that place is gonna be crazy. But guess what? In a perfect world, they could build up the Gaza to be like Dubai. I'm gonna show you in a little while what I mean by that. But fuck what's going on, getting blown. Yeah, blow those buildings up. Let's clear this shit up, right? You know, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. However, the snapback is always where it's at. So they have the potential to build that area back up to be better than it ever was on a level of a Dubai. If they wanted to. I'm gonna show you how. FYI, you know, after the derailment, you started to see the pattern everywhere, right? Somehow it set it off. It almost like it was a catalyst to all of these derailments. Like, goddamn, I know the train system is old and antiquated, but my nigga, everything's going off the rails. That means that there's some type of seismic activity or something going on. It's just basically throwing shit off the magnetic field or something, because it's basically everywhere. Okay. How many people are aware of the East Med pipeline? So here we have the East Palestine, right? Derailment. Okay. And this was gases. This was a lot of toxic shit and whatnot. But here we have one of the most important projects that was taking place in the quote unquote Middle East. We have to keep in mind, I think I might even rename or do the subtitle on this show and whatnot, the gas phase. I might rename it the gas phase, because gas and oil have, or I might just call it God, gas, oil, and death, because there's so much going on globally, from a power position, right? Because we could get into the esoteric, we could get into a few other things, we could get into the conspiracy, but I'm just giving you straight up politics, economics, and whatnot. Gas and oil and the depositories of such are of utmost importance, especially to the quote unquote European nations who are in dire straits right now. They are in danger of not receiving natural resources in order to keep their motherfucking people warm, in order to keep things going at the way that they need to be going. There is a global move among super nations, right? Conglomerates, to lock down resources by any means necessary. By any means necessary. And what we talking about more so is that gas and that oil. Okay. People of the nations, China, Russia, the majority of the things going on in the world right now, even going all the way back to the Middle East crises, were built around these quote unquote two assets, gas and oil. The Ukraine war, gas and oil. The reason why Iran and quote unquote the other Muslim countries, you know, gas and oil. America making side deals with Iran over gas. Russia making moves over gas. Israel making moves on Palestine over gas. So we might not be controllers of this very lucrative market because we don't own, you know, resources like gas, oil, and water and shit like that. But that should definitely be goals. But this pipeline right here, called the East Med pipeline, okay, was a pipeline that Europe was really banking on, okay? And if you see how this pipeline is running and whatnot, it's going through the Mediterranean Sea, and then it's linking up in Cyprus, okay? Then it's going into Lebanon, and then it's taking you into Israel, right? So this is feeding, is this Israeli pipeline is feeding, quote unquote, Europe. Right? The East Med pipeline includes 1,300 kilometers of offshore and 600 kilometers of onshore pipeline sections. It will transport natural gas from the Levantine Basin in Israel, as well as from the gas fields and Cypriot waters to Greece and Italy. The project includes a 200-kilometer offshore pipeline section with a diameter of 24 inches that will start from the Leviathan gas field of Israel. Listen to these names. The Leviathan gas field of Israel and end at Cyprus, connecting the Aphrodite gas field. A 100 milliwatt compressor station will be constructed at Cyprus. A 700-kilometer offshore pipeline section with a diameter of 26 inches will connect the pipeline further from Cyprus to Crete Island, where a 120 megawatt compressor station will be installed. All right, financing, So we're gonna get back to this in a minute, okay? Just remember that, right? This whole conversation, we're gonna get into gas and oil, GOD, and death, right? So here we have our good brother Donald Trump, right, who is going through his great fall, right? He's walking out of the courtroom. There's people turning states on him. He has his co-defendants who basically turn states on him. There's a lawyer who said that she is a Bible-fearing, God-fearing Christian, and she went against her Christian morals by doing things for Donald Trump. This is what she told prosecutors. So I think she's ready to turn state. Another one of his co-defendants turned state. And then even Michael Cohen, his old attorney, he was on the stand and whatnot, shitting on Donald. Donald is out here breaking gag orders. He's kind of going crazy right now. However, sometimes you have to fall to rise. And a lot of people are not familiar with Israel and Donald Trump's relationship. A lot of people are not familiar with a lot of things that Donald Trump has done in office around many different luminaries and things of that nature. And a lot of people don't, they probably don't remember the move that he made when he moved the American embassy to Jerusalem, okay? So let's look at this video real quick. Let's get into this.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.
We are very happy to announce that the Mikdash Educational Center just produced a new Cyrus Trump Temple coin. This special coin was produced and minted for the 70 years of the independence of the State of Israel and to honor and praise President Donald Trump, who promised, but not only promised, also fulfilled this promise. And next week, we'll move the American embassy to Jerusalem.
Charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. The candelabra was always the symbol of the State of Israel.
In 3 languages, in Hebrew, in English, and in Arabic. עזוב את איראן עכשיו, דיברנו על איראן מקודם. President Trump is starting a prophetic process by moving the American embassy to Jerusalem. Just like King Cyrus 2,500 years ago said, he charged me to build a house in Jerusalem. Here again, President Trump is building a house in Jerusalem.
Okay. So when President Trump made that move, he began the process of what they call biblical prophecy, right? Every single president has to play a prophetic role in the story, okay? Donald Trump fulfilled the prophecy of moving the embassy to Jerusalem, which will begin the process of the third temple. Once the third temple is erected and built, that is fulfilling biblical prophecy. That is something that the quote unquote Islamic world is not trying to let happen, right? They are ready to go to war in order to stop that. But that is something that the Abrahamic religions have to allow. It has to happen. So we as a people, if we're religious or not, it's important to understand that the people who are playing in this theater of war, they're playing a crusader, religious, fanatical end game. This is end game prophecies, right? You may be like, I don't believe in a book. You personally, or your contemporaries and whatnot, you have the ability to create a reality where, regardless of what may be happening, you can coexist, and none of that shit would even, you won't even know what's going on if you really box yourself out of it. But if that's not the case and you're gonna be plugged into this reality right here, I'm here to let you know, guys, these people is outside playing a motherfucking holy war. They on a crusader shit right now. All three of the Abrahamic religions, right, are looking for the Messiah, right, the Mahdi, or Jesus to come back. This is all in-game theory. These governments and these people in power, they obviously have some type of commitment to fulfill that prophecy because they're moving towards that shit every single day in all of their practices, regardless if it's a big ass drill or not. But it's theater in a sense, but it's definitely, fulfillment. It is the fulfillment of what was written. So it's like, regardless of how you feel, they could be like, we fulfilled that. We did that already. All right, we did that too. Yeah. We just did that as well. All right, cool. Like, where we at with the Christ coming back, or what they call the Antichrist. Okay. And we're gonna have that conversation about that Antichrist. It won't be tonight on the fall, number 7. We're gonna be getting into the quote unquote fallen ones. We'll get to that Antichrist conversation and give it its own show. Okay. So this was very important. This was the beginning of the quote unquote fight, or the beginning of this battle against what they call light against darkness. So in the 2020 Sanhedrin, the Jewish judicial and administrative body minted a coin for the battle of light against darkness. Trump and Bibi Netanyahu are on the coin. 3 years later, Israel is at war. Against who? Against the light and the darkness. I'm going to show you the video where they're saying it. So they're standing on it. So they're conjuring it and they're summoning it, and they're not shying away from it, right? Just something to pay attention to for all of my hard body niggas out there. Regardless of what we could say about this, is it real faction and whatnot, they are showing you how to fucking stand on something. You know what I'm saying? As demonic as they may be, and as much as I abhor, the barbarism in these people. I mean, you have to be a student of history to know who you're dealing with, first and foremost. And second of all, sometimes you have to appreciate a person for showing you who they are, you know? Because the greatest trick on some Kaza Sose verbal shit, the greatest trick that the devil ever played was convince you that he wasn't real and whatnot. But there's some of us that see the fangs on this motherfucking demon right now. Some of us see the fangs. Some of us are seeing the full face when they pull it back. We seeing it for what it is. They've exposed their hands more in this conflict than they ever have any times that I can remember. Because I remember going through these quote unquote proxy wars with is it real and whatnot. But they've exposed their hands to a global world faction of people who are a lot more quote unquote tech savvy these days. It's a lot noisier these days. This is not the 80s and whatnot. We couldn't get a grasp on Yasser Arafat. We was like, fuck is he doing? We didn't understand the whole shit with him. Come to find out, he was like Roy Ennis and these niggas. You know what I mean? He's Al Sharpton in this bitch. You feel me? He wasn't, he was kind of Sharpton-y. You know? He wasn't the hardliner. He wasn't a hardliner. Come to find out, whole time, he wasn't a hardliner. It was other niggas that was stepping harder than that. You know? But this is the Rothschilds. I don't want us to see it as what it's not. This land was given to the Rothschilds. This was a Rothschild. Just picture if the Rothschilds had their own fucking state. And it just so happened to be the Holy Land. Like, this shit is egregious. Handed over to them by the Brits. By the Brits. You know? But these people are they're laser focused on accomplishing their motherfucking goals, like how the villains in the movies be. So yeah, like somebody just said, they got them heifers and they bold right now. They got them heifers and they want to make that, they're gonna make the play. They're gonna make an attempt at least. So there's multiple ways to look at this show tonight. This show is going to show you how undoubtedly, and I'm not summoning no type of, because war should be avoided at all costs. Of course, the cost of war is too much for any man to pay. You're witnessing war in your timeline. This is war, and we've been exposed to it in the month of Red October. We've all seen war. We've seen it many other times, but this time is in HD on a new iPhone. You feel me? There's some fucking disturbing footage out there of what war really looks like, and it's playing a psyop role on people's psyche, and they're breaking them. That's why you see the mass shooter going bonkers and getting quote unquote triggered, right? Yes, if the red heifers were destroyed, it probably would be delayed. He did, it would be delayed. And the red heifers are biblical prophecy of the 3 red heifers that they would sacrifice at the mound. And this would be signaling the oncoming of the Messiah. So those red heifers are born. You could Google it. There's 3 red heifers, and I think it's Germany. Don't quote me on that, but the red heifers is on deck, my niggas, and they ready to make their move. And we're not as versed into the biblical shit as those people who live out there. This is what they do. This is what they stand on. They fight for this shit. They shed blood. Like it would be remiss. Okay, you think it's 5 and they went to Israel in September? Man. These people, the shit is like a mid-journey movie though. You know what I mean? Like it's the greatest story. This shit is writing itself. This is like where's Bruce Willis when we need him? You know what I'm talking about? Somebody gonna activate Bruce Willis. You know? Yes, you can't take land without war. So I'm going to show you, right? I don't wish no world war. First of all, my disclaimer, I don't wish the world war. I don't want world war, but I want world war. You understand that part? I want that shit. I need it to hurry up. You know what I mean? And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But what I do know is something is going to happen. So what I'm going to show tonight is about 3 solid reasons why going into 2024 is going to be a year unlike anything you've ever seen. And the possibilities for all out escalation is definitely you know, it's we're getting closer to it by the day. Okay. I'm not playing a part in it, you know. I'll publicly put that out there. I'll play a good observer role, but you ain't gonna see me on the front line. Don't look for me to be with the fatigue drip on and whatnot, pulling up. Nigga, ain't gonna be me. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't gonna be me. But if a nigga was to get his shit back, this was probably gonna be the way to get it back. Yes, Charles is to be declared king of Is It Real and fake lineage of Judah. Yes, we're gonna get into we're gonna get into Charles and a whole he got his own show. We in Scorpion season, so I'm about to put together the King Charles Chronicles, y'all. Charles from BMF, you know what I mean? Daddy Charles, you know what I'm talking about? You know, the King Cooper of this shit. You know, it was him the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? It was him the whole time, Scooby-Doo. When I look back at it, it was him the whole time. Just pay attention to what shit started doing after the coronation. You know what I mean? Over there and go back and watch the bomber clock coronation. We're gonna have a whole show. We're gonna break that down. It was mad shit going down in that. It wasn't just the Grim Reaper making a entrance or a cameo. They was doing mad rituals for King Charles' coronation. So there are some undeniable reasons from political to esoteric to spiritual to economic that these things are going to move around in this region and whatnot. And whatever is being heated up is not going to cool down too soon. This is that pot that we were talking about going into the end of the fiscal and whatnot. This is that pot right here. You feel me? So it's best to get a better understanding, history lesson on this area and these things so you could not be swayed and they don't siphon off your energy for no type of co-signage or no co-signature or no check off for some fuckery. You know what I mean? You got to conserve your energy in situations like this, but definitely you also have to direct. You also have to direct, you know, your arrows because it's still fire bun. You feel me? It's still licks. You know, they showing their fangs to the world, but the arrogance, you can't be that arrogant, you know? So you know eventually there's gonna come a day where all that shit is gonna come back. So Donald Trump is loved over there, right? He put himself in history for making that move and whatnot. What's going on with him in the Americas is you know, it is what it is. But I guarantee you, if he went over there, I don't even know how that would happen because I don't know, but he you know, He got some friends in some high places, you know what I'm saying? So he is also somewhat compromised in that degree, but it's a tricky thing to look at because, you know, it's still politics. It's still part of, he's a German, right? He's a German. He's fulfilling his family's legacy. He's not moving it. Now you have to understand and separate the politics now. You just got to know who these people are. These are Germans. You understand? These are Ukrainians and whatnot, but these got Germans over there. You feel me? So he's putting on for his people. There's a lot of Germans in the Ukraine. I mean, and is it real? And then the one who's running the plays is his son-in-law. You feel me? That's the one running the play and whatnot. He's the one that set things up. Jared and whatnot. Jared Kushner. Okay? So regardless of what anybody says, so we could get ourselves out of the fucking spell and not get caught up. Don't get caught up in the quagmire. It's the Abrahamic religion clusterfuck. It doesn't matter what's going on. You have to remove yourself from the Royal Rumble. You have to remove yourself from the confusion. Just know you on this planet with this mind state that you have, with this worldview, with this personal view, just know that you are surrounded by some crazy religious zealots and they are banging for the same fucking cause. They are not different. Don't fall for the okie doke and wind up trying to take a side. Oh no, I'm riding for Allah and whatnot. Don't hit no nigga. We talking Ishmael and Isaac, nigga, like they forever yoked to this internal battle and whatnot. And these people, everybody has an end game, right? But nobody is talking about, you know, everybody's talking about coming back to get saved by somebody. That's not what we talking about. We are not the same. Islam, they're waiting for the Mahdi. The Zionists waiting for the Messiah. The Christians is waiting for Christ, right? So they're people in places, they have billions of dollars, they have influence, there's dictators, there's popes, there's people of the cloth, they got oil money and whatnot, they got land, they have the capabilities to manipulate the timeline. They have capabilities to fulfill these quote unquote prophecies, whether it's from an original standpoint or they force it. But all of them are basically in a situation, they're tethered and whatnot. They're never going to be at peace. There's never going to be some peaceful times between them. They're never going to be at an understanding place, right? But they all have, they all have what is known as conflicts of interest. How's everybody waiting for, they not waiting for the same nigga. They're not waiting for the same person. So that don't really have a lot to do with the people who make the decision that they don't have anything to do with that, right? Be very careful where you put your energy and be very careful where you put your faith and your commitment and whatnot. And the shit that you think that, you know, I got ops and whatnot, come to find out whole time, your ops is your fucking ally. You know? Yeah, Farrakhan is suing the ADL for $5 billion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how you play the end game. That's right. That's doomsday. That's end game. That's the end game right there. That's how you close them out. Body them. Because I'm sure he could prove it, right? Trump recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's capital and orders the U.S. embassy to move. For everybody that wants to really get into the why is things happening, what's going on over there, why are things flaring up. It's a process. It didn't come out of nowhere. There's provocations on both sides, but definitely provocations on the side of, is it real? You know? Is it real? Then they moving on the goddamn Temple Mount. Then they disrespecting the goddamn the mosque. Come on, fam. So there's history that's involved, and the whole story is not being told. Shit is not being told, you know? So this was very, very controversial at the time that it happened, right? They had to do, they was killing people on the Gaza Strip back then because there was an uprising, right? See, they had to kill Palestinian protesters along the Gaza border. As the embassy event took place, they rose up. Then you had the relation, the communications with Saudi Arabia and Israel that Jared Kushner was also behind. And that fell apart as a result of this situation right here. I don't think Saudi is stupid enough to sit down and talk to them at this point in the game. Right? So an interesting thing also happened, that the Department of Homeland Security is starting applications for visa-free travel from Israel to the USA, right? So them crazy ass motherfuckers that we seeing on TV, them heartless individuals, right? Who relish, right? You could say what you want to say about our people. You could call us soft, and you could say that we was on coward mode because we wasn't spinning the block when the police was killing us. You know what I mean? You could say that we copped out because we was twerking in front of the police and shit when they was killing our people and whatnot. You could say that we, you could say that niggas' wrists are broken, and there's a soy boy issue in America because black men decided to go marching instead of throwing rocks and rockets. But you can't say that we relish in children dying, bro. You can't say that we speak open genocide against another group of people. Nah, we don't do that. You know? We ain't into that. You know? And people are savage over there. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They're on another level of heartlessness. Like, compassion is key, and you talking big shit. Like, you the holiest of holies. You know what I mean? You chosen and shit. Nigga, you frozen. Your heart is frozen. You not chosen. Chosen people don't talk like that. I'm gonna show you some shit. I'm gonna show you a clip or two. I ain't gonna show you no bodies though. I'm not gonna do that tonight. I had to take that out of my slideshow and whatnot. I'm not doing cadavers and whatnot because what I'm not doing and what people have to pay attention to, they are showing. Remember, you are in the Jason months. You're in Scorpio, right? There was a blood moon that just happened. There was an eclipse and all kind of shit. People are looking at them dead children, and they have to be careful about what they're looking at. I'm not looking at dead children, bro. I can't do it. Can't do it. People are being desensitized, and it's not the right time for that. It's a spell. It's a fucking ritual that they're doing. Don't fall for it. Yeah, it's the highest level of trauma porn. Can't fall for that. You gotta dodge that shit. You dig? Gotta dodge it. Cause you're like, that's not my child. You turn into lucky it's not you. You turn into I'ma just get along to go along because I don't never want that to be me. and it's still a level of fear. They're still quote unquote feeding Sekhmet, feeding Kali, right? Feeding the Kali Yuga. You know what I mean? But they're still implementing a fear campaign, whether you know it or not. You know, it's still a fear campaign. Niggas is in fear right now. They might not admit it, but you can't even talk, you can't even pop your shit at your job. You know what I mean? You can't wear the motherfucking parachute, the puffer with the niggas in a paraglider. You can't do that. You can't wear the Palestinian flag, you know what I'm saying, to the fucking soccer game with the soccer moms. You feel me? Like you gotta duck, you gotta keep it low. Gotta keep it low. So there is a fear factor dealing with, is it real right now? They are flexing a muscle on some nigga, we kill babies. Fuck out of here. Like they are kind of like Deboing type shit, telling niggas no. And they're continuing. They're like, we didn't bomb the hospital. Then like 5 hospitals got bombed after that. You know that? Now I might be exaggerating on the number of hospitals, but they were standing on the fact that the hospital was a mistake, and then they bombed. Then right after that, there was more hospital bombings. That type of shit. So these are some of their war. These are some of their, you know, the phenotype of the Israelis. It differs. You see, there's a brother right there, right? You know, we got Ethiopians up in that bitch. We got Somalians up in that bitch. You know, we got Falashas up in that bitch. You know what I'm talking about? And everybody, yeah, the Ugandans, you know, they all got to do military service, right? And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. America don't have that, where everybody got to pick up the motherfucking weapons and whatnot. Do you think we should have that? Do you think we should be mandatory? Think about it. Do you think we should be mandatory? I think everybody should arm themselves. You know? I think everybody should arm themselves. I ain't against that. They out there killing and shit anyway. Yes, y'all saying yes, we should. I feel that but it would be mandatory for our nation, going back to the earlier conversation, private military corporations, PMCs, right? PMCs, where all of our children should have basic training, straight like that. Because as you can see, with this conflict, right? And then back before that with the Wagner group and whatnot, with this conflict and seeing how the world is like all of that, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Like I said, Black people are so hypocritical that it scares me and whatnot. Y'all was the same ones pushing P when shit was going down, right? And your Jewish friends were the same ones who derailed your East Palestine train with All Lives Matter. You was on a run. Your Black Lives Matter t-shirts, them shits was selling like Waffle House. And then it came with the All Lives Matter and derailed, and once again threw a monkey wrench in your shit. And they tried to basically be the moral compass and got you niggas off up the fucking neck of these folks. Y'all was on their necks. You niggas was literally about to get all up in their motherfucking snot box. These are the same people. These are the same folks, right? All lives matter, right? I'm about to pop out with the t-shirt, all Goyim lives matter. You know, all Goyim lives matter, because what you're seeing is a real life enactment of the book, Behold the Pale Horse, in your face. Because he talked about the protocols of Zion, right? And he talked about the Rothschilds. And he talked about what them people from Israel really be doing. That's what he did. And that's what I'm seeing that shit play out in real life. I'm like, damn. He wasn't lying. So pay attention to this whole thing about the embassy, along with the Temple Mount, along with the quote unquote third temple. This is all dealing with biblical prophecy, ecclesiastical, rabbinic, messianic, revelation, all that shit. And nobody's inclined to stop it. They're going to put on a thing. Oh yeah, let's vote. Oh yeah, that's wrong what they're doing. My whole life, I'm in my 40s. That they've been doing that. When Yasser Arafat was outside, they was putting on the same theater, my niggas. It don't change. Don't worry about that. That's why I'm like, it's all rehearsal, dress rehearsal for the big play. For the big play. But if you caught up in that religious whirlwind, no judgment on anybody, no judgment. I just want to help you see what I see from the outside looking in. That from where I see my vantage point, it kind of looks crazy, bro. It kind of looks Quagmire-ish. You know what I mean? It kind of looks like you know, you got to do it. You would fare better to do a little bit more digging into how connected all of these people really are. You know? And then pay attention, if you are religious, pay attention to what the hell is going on around you based off of what the fuck your book says to pay attention to. Because this shit looks like a fucking move in the wrong direction. You know? Because this is not what God chosen people is outside to do. They don't do shit like this. They don't do shit like that. They're not going to get people to love them more. Yeah, you must be out of your rabbit mind if you think that this the provocation of what's taking place in front of the world is something that's going to be favorable in the near future. Like that shit is going to like there's no karma or there's nothing that's going to come out of that. Like that's crazy. These people got a grip on America. Not just where they at. This is America's sister country. Like America's in bed with these people, bro. This is America. This is Hollywood. This is the medical industry. This is the lawyers, the bar. This is the teachers from the Board of Education that teach our children. They all hail from the same storm, right? It's almost like secret invasion and whatnot, like they the scrolls and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's like secret invasion. They all integrated and invaded in our society. Like how, Sway? Y'all from all the way over there, but y'all all up in our shit. Y'all control our music. Y'all control the motherfucking doctors, the medical aspect, the pharmaceuticals. Damn. Y'all the teachers and shit, bro. Y'all niggas is the lawyers and shit, bro. The fuck? Y'all niggas managers, bro. How the fuck did y'all get all around us like this? And how we became the vocal point and y'all all the way over there stealing land and shit. So what is it about us, the chosen ones, as Rabin pointed out? They was like, we got to get around the real ones. We got to be plugged into the real tribe, the lost tribe, in order for our shit over there to rock. We got to find the lost tribe and plug into them and cloak ourselves. Henceforth, when you go to the hood, they around us. They live amongst us, my genius. Like battery operated type shit. They're not living on the outskirts of us, nigga. They're right there by Marcy Projects, bro. They're right there by Franklin Ave, bro. They in the hood with us, my nigga. Facts. They just got their own communities, but they're feeding off of our energies. We surround them. I lived on President Avenue right there in Crown Heights, nigga. They were right there. These the Goldilocks. There's Goldilocks in them. The Lubavitch and all of them. They your landlords and shit. How the fuck them people is right under our people in all ways where we turn? Who did they work with? Who did they work out a deal with? Check this out. Listen to this shit right here. And this is what I mean when I say that we're living in this book. This book came to life. Behold the pale horse. We living in the motherfucking script right now of Behold the Pale Horse Factory. Check this out.
Our war against Hamas. Our war against Hamas is a test for all of humanity. It is a struggle between the axis of evil of Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas, and the axis of freedom and progress. We are the people of the light. They are the people of darkness, and light shall triumph over darkness. Citizens of Israel, October 7th was a very dark and black day in our history. We will fully investigate what had happened at our southern border, the border with Gaza. Everybody will have to provide answers, myself included, but all that will happen only after the war. As a prime minister, I'm responsible for guaranteeing the future of this country, and now my role is to lead all Israelis, the state of Israel and the people of Israel, to an overpowering victory. It is now a time to come together for one purpose, to storm ahead to achieve victory. In joint forces and a profound belief in our justness, a profound belief in the eternity of the Jewish people, we shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah. There will no longer be stealing at your borders, and your gates will be of glory. Together we will fight. Together we will win.
First of all, I don't like when niggas talking, it sound like they spitting at me, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's just a bad people, bro. If your speech sound like you spitting, then you already like we starting off on a negative foot. Now, second of all, did you hear this Skeeter, my nigga? Do you hear this nigga going in his bag? Do you hear this nigga on his Protocol of Zion shit, bro? This nigga sound like Skeletor. You know what I'm talking about? He sound like fucking Count Dracula, nigga. Like, did you hear him talking about the darkness and the light? I'm not sending nobody's melanated should go if they listen. They're about to try to wash about 20 million niggas off the map with this fake ass war that they conjuring up. Yes, he said after the war, questions will be answered. Did you peep that, y'all? I have to go. That was the third point I wanted to make. So point 3, in his speech just now, This nigga said, yeah, I know what happened was crazy, almost impossible, almost borderline impossible to happen, almost magical in its implications that they were able to breach the borders the way that they did and nobody knew anything. It is almost impossible, nearly impossible to 1 in a million chance that that could ever happen, but it did happen, and we'll talk about it after the war. Thank you, because by going to war, I was about to get impeached. There was about to be a civil war. People was talking about resign Netanyahu because of the crookedness of his administration. So much so, it was almost akin to when President Bush, before 9/11, was being, niggas was throwing eggs at his quote unquote on his limo and whatnot. Similar to baby Bush, Bush Jr., right? He was the quote unquote lamed up president. They were ready to revolt in the streets. Michael Moore shows this in his documentary. He captured that shit. You know what I mean? He captured that. So my guy right here, Netanyahu, he's the main culprit behind all of the things that you see in that area from the creation of Hamas, because it's already been shown that Hamas has been a creation of Israel, okay, who basically helped fund it the same way that America helped to fund ISIS, as crazy as that might sound, the same way that the Russians or America helped to fund the Taliban, as crazy and out of fucking, you know what I mean? I mean, we spend enough hours on Netflix, but people still can't fathom how that shit happens. However, that shit happens. It does happen. Shit be happening like that. Okay? Shit happens like that. You know, they selling people out. So
war against Hamas is
so the spirit of Netanyahu, he's not even the most ultra right wing in that country. He wouldn't be, I don't know if he's the furthest of the far right, but I'm sure that there's other people out there who are even more vile and vulgar, right, than him. Okay? Hold on 1 minute, y'all. You know, but the spirit that this man has conjured up, and I showed you in the clip where it showed how the peacemaker, the one who possibly could have brought some peace, right? He got clipped, you know? And Netanyahu has been in the he's been in the seat, and shit been going, you know, super red, super blood moon ever since. Okay? But Netanyahu, and not just him, but before him, you know, these quote unquote religious zealots, these Zionists, they raised up generations of their children to be Zionists. They lied to them about their history and whatnot. They played on their fears, and they played on their quote unquote their guilt for being land grabbers, right? You had to feel guilty living amongst people whose land you basically came and deboed because it was erroneously given to you by people who deboed it in the first place, right? So the people of Israel, it's not just the president, the people have become a cesspool of very, 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 very low frequency. Like, I don't care what type of PR campaign they try to do. People around the world, even in not Muslim majority, because you know, if it's a Muslim majority country, you can forget about it. Israel will never have favor there. But even countries that are not, right? They're beginning to see the hypocrisy, and they're beginning to see the full picture of what was going on over there that people had no idea about by these groups of people who they position themselves to be moral authorities. Like they out here, they'll crucify you. You know, they'll put you to the stake. You know, the majority of them are in the penal system out here. You know, judging people. They're in the social service system, taking shit. You know, doing all kind of stuff, being a judge and a jury and shit. They've appointed themselves superior types of roles, but these are not a good. This is a group of people. They fit the description in the scriptures of a group of people that we've heard about and we've read about, and they told us to be wary of and look out. So let me just show you some of the emotionalist satire. You know, these are some real. Remember, but this is also the writers at Saturday Night Live, Comedy Central, all of these networks that we be into and whatnot, right? These people, right? These are their people, these Israelis, right? Remember when they went into blackface back in the days and they started out making fun of us and whatnot, these white writers and whatnot, they depicted us as buffoons and shit like that. This is them, these are their people. Check this out.
From London, here are some news from the war in Gaza. Israel has bombed a hospital, killing hundreds of innocent people. More. Much better. With more details, our Middle East correspondent, Harry Whitefield.
Good evening, Rachel, from the illegal colony of Tel Aviv. Israeli officials have denied bombing the hospital, but we have video footage showing what really happened indeed.
Absolutely shocking, Harry.
Yeah. We got this video from Hamas, the most credible not terrorist organization in the world.
And now we're back to Gaza genocide. Harry?
I'm sorry, Rachel, I've got some terrible news. The United States Pentagon says it has evidence Israel did not bomb the hospital.
Wait, what? What? Well, I guess it's going to be one of those things we can never be sure about. Like how the Jews knew about 9/11 and did not go to work that day.
No, they just published recording of Hamas freedom fighters admitting they were the one who fired the missiles by mistake.
يلا بسيدة نظرة ولا يعيوش كما هو تاخذ ضحيم يعني بالحسن بالباصات.
Well, I guess we'll never know exactly what happened.
لا زي نحن.
It's just going to stay a mystery.
mystery يا مجنونة. نحن لقمر نحن.
But it's still Israel's fault, indeed.
Of course.
Because the Israeli blockade prevented Hamas from getting proper functioning missiles, and this is why tragic accidents like this happens indeed.
Thank you so much, Harry. Good night, everyone. And remember, Israel is ISIS.
Now we got a clip right here of an Israeli representative that's in Atlanta, of all places, and she lets the cat out the bag about how they feel about the hood and niggas.
holding a private convention here in the United States. One of the people in attendance at this secret meeting was Judith Varney Shorter. She's a former Israeli consul general who was operating out of Atlanta. She was one of the main people saying that the biggest problem that they had was young Black people in the United States. But don't worry, they've got some Black leaders on the payroll.
The major problem of Israel is with the younger generation of the Black community. The problem of Israel is with the younger generation of the Black community. Black is with the younger generation of the Black community.
This was an Israeli government official who was saying this, not some low-level operative or some rogue member of their diplomatic corps. This was a senior member of their administrative government who was saying this on American soil. Their biggest problem wasn't Hamas or Hezbollah or the Palestinian Authority or Syria or even Iran. She said that Israel's biggest problem was young Black people in the United States.
That's crazy. You know? And these are the niggas that they want your children to go to war against, right? And these are the dudes that the Israelis is about to go against, because these are mostly from Muslim, speaking. That's the, there's them US, the Chavekalov and all of them niggas that wrestle bears and whatnot, Let's get into some more politics. Let's talk about another great fall that we see taking place. Let's identify the falling of a Donald Trump. All right, we talked about that. But let's also talk about the fall of Joe Biden, aka Ho Biden. And the person who is responsible for his fall is his own son, right? Don't you love it when it's your own son? And his son is a crackhead, a deadbeat. It's a lot of things I could say about good old Hunter, but I'll just keep it to myself. And I'll just say that he's under a lot of investigation for being what is considered to be a double agent, right? He's considered to be a spy, right? And his laptop, along with a whole bunch of other fucking dirty, some evidence that was left behind. He has a sloppy paper trail, and that sloppy paper trail connects him to Ukrainian energy companies. It connects him to China, and it connects him to other lucrative businesses where him and his pops was able to eat off of henceforth, while a lot of side deals and a lot of other things are taking place right in your face, right? So, yeah, Hunter's being investigated. Joe Biden's being investigated. They were even talking impeachment right before this whole situation started with Israel. And you don't hear about that anymore. You don't hear about that anymore. You feel me? That shit quietly been swept under the rug. But more leaks are coming out from this camp that's going to undeniably tie the Biden crime family into the quote unquote many of the dark, deep state rat lines. Okay. A lot of fucking criminal activity on this guy's end right here. And he has some people that are gunning for his neck based off of the fact that they were gunning for Trump. So there's a lot of, it's a shootout going on this side of town. And homie, like I said, he's the weakest link. He's Fredo, right? So he's going to be the one that's going to take his pops down eventually. Okay, he's either something has to be done about Hunter, because he is a huge liability in the motherfucking game of power right now. Humongous fuck up, big liability. You know what I mean? Big fuck up. But he's bringing his pops down though. He's definitely bringing his father down once and for all. Thank God. I gotta shake Hunter's hand when I see him for being such a fuck up. what Hunter Biden did on the board of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. Remember, we would talk about gas and oil, right? Gas, the gas face. You know what I'm talking about? Woo, KMD, nigga, the gas face. You feel me? So he was in bed with a very powerful natural gas company. And as anybody, I mean, we may know it or we may not know it, but as a result of this new clean gas initiative, this new quote unquote natural gas thing, the ditching of the petroleum and whatnot, moving towards what the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, King Charles, and all of the quote unquote climate change cartel are pushing towards. Whoever is able to secure the natural gas reserves, whoever is able to secure that quote unquote very, very precious, very needed right now because of these growing superpowers like China, because of Europe's dominance and the fact that they need their power, they need all of that. There's so many things, so many factors that are taking place. And as always, of course, Africa is always in the middle of it. But definitely America has a humongous hand to play. So a lot of these puzzle pieces that you see being moved around and these rumors of war and all of this fucking provocation has everything to do with resources, but most importantly, gas. Most importantly, the gas. You might not realize it, but it's the gas, and the oil, of course. But new players are coming on the scene, okay? New players are coming on the scene. So even going back into what we see, yes, it's lithium, it's gas, right? So now we go into Africa and we see the major play that's being made by Russia in Africa against who? Against France. And what is that fucking up? The gas, right? They fucking up the gas. France was getting the gas. They was getting the resources out of Africa for the low, and so was everybody else. But Mali revolted, Burkina Faso revolted, Niger revolted. They all rised up, and they like, we taking back the gas. You feel me? We taking back the gas. We charging you niggas. We putting tax on the gas. We riding with the Wagner group. We riding with Russia, with Putin, my nigga. And by proxy, they riding with China. So by proxy, they riding against America. So these are the quote unquote, these are the lines that are being drawn. These are the quote unquote teams that are coming together. This is the league that's being formed and whatnot. And something is going to eventually unravel and come out of this, because war, physical war, is the last provocation. You know what I mean? It's almost like in chess and whatnot. It's that point of contact is the end of the game. It's not the beginning of it. So you're already seeing war on the strategy level on a higher chessboard, but it will eventually descend into physical combat eventually, So Moscow chased France out of Africa, right? Paris is pulling back under pressure from Russian disinformation and Wagner Group. Africa, how France continues to dominate its former colonies in France, right? So France was over there fucking up, leaning on the people and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Doing them dirty and whatnot, robbing the continent, right? Human Rights Watch calls for a halt to disaster Total Energies oil project in Uganda. So they over there having these projects and whatnot, extracting all of these resources from the continent, poisoning shit, fucking shit up, doing all kind of ecosystem failures and whatnot. So they sue them, right? They sue them. The company is called Total Energies. And then in France, they throw the lawsuit out and whatnot and don't give them no type of justice. Okay, so they are done with France. They getting France to fuck up out of Africa, finally, right? And people are like, oh, they just trading it for another conqueror and whatnot. Fuck out of here. Anyway, you know what I mean? Whatever. Okay. You tell that to these niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, they changing one face for another. But goddamn it, you know, sometimes it's better to have a fucking elbow on your neck than a boot. You know what I mean? So yeah, they may that's just how their shit is set up. They might not be in a position to get full freedom, but nigga, you got half freedom too. They got you in a light headlock. Nigga, like on some S&M shit. They got you in a light headlock. You know what I mean? Slightly taking away your breath, nigga. But please believe they got you in a, they can tighten up that grip. They can bow constrict you if they want to. Maybe not like in a third country, but they got their shit. You know what I mean? But it should be a thug holiday that France is getting moved up out of Africa, right? For anybody who's known how detrimental their time in Africa was and whatnot, and the way that they take advantage of those people, it is something that I celebrated when I got around it to it, right? So something that is not being spoken about, something that's not being brought up, right? For purposes, you know, I understand why, you know, the media is one-sided. There's a control, once again, of the flow of media. There's a consorted censorship of certain stories coming out. So if you go heavy on the history, if you mention the Rothschilds and go heavy on the history, if you do the Balfour Declaration and all of that, they flag in the videos. If you try to talk about the conflict and give it the historical narrative, they don't want that either, right? So the conversation about Israel finding gas in Gaza, they don't want to talk about that, right? Because what that's gonna do, right? What that's gonna do is that's gonna put people on game. Okay? That this fight has something to do, that's when people really start to pay attention, because now it's not regular Palestinians that you'll be addressing. You addressing former trillionaires. You addressing future billionaires, future trillionaires. You are addressing almost akin to, like I said, just think early days of Dubai. Because when you see how much gas they got right in the Gaza Strip, my nigga, then you'll see why things are taking place right now the way that they're taking place, and why nobody is going to, not nobody, but the NATO countries, the ones who need the gas, they need the gas, right? They not gonna interfere because they need the gas. And if the Gazanians, if they, Gaza is how you spell gas in French. Oh, that's crazy. If the Gazanians, if Gaza and Gully get the gas, they're gonna charge a motherfucking grip. And by charging that grip, they're gonna be able to big up and make themselves rich. And when they make themselves rich, they're gonna be able to afford shit like Iron Dome and whatnot. They're gonna be able to afford tourism. They're gonna be able to build up, they destroy cities to look like a Dubai. Way better than bum ass Israel. They'll be able to do that. So you gotta talk to them niggas differently at the UN now. Right? Look at all of these articles. I'm gonna run it through you. I'm gonna show you. Israel gives a nod to Gaza marine gas development. But let's go back right there. This sign says our gas is our right. Palestinians joined in a rally at the Gaza seaport on the 14th of September 2022 to demand their right to receive gas from maritime fields in the Eastern Mediterranean. Okay, so there's gas in the Mediterranean and they don't have access to it, and this is their land. So they're like, yo, our gas, our land. So it's not just them talking about, oh, we want our house back. It's not just them talking about, oh, we want Gaza back. It's not just them talking about none of that. It's them saying, fuck that. We want access to the riches, to our wealth, to this land. We're laying claim to this land. If we are put in the Gaza Strip and y'all found gas, you found deposits that make people by the Gaza Strip rich, and then Israel comes behind and says, nah, we taking all of the rights of the water and all of the gas, and we ain't cutting y'all people in no type of deal. And then we provoke a war with y'all so we could destroy y'all, so we don't have to pay you no type of quote unquote gas, right? The movie just came out from Scorsese with Leonardo. Blue Pill did the review on it. It's the same thing. It's almost the same thing. So there's bloodlines or there's families in Palestine and Gaza, to be exact, that probably are recipients. They're probably tied into some type of historical bloodlines that may have the rights to that gas. So those trillions of dollars. It's not billions of dollars. It's trillions of dollars. It would build that whole area back up 100 times better than what it was, in 100 times faster amount of time than it would if niggas try to build it up with no budget. The whole Muslim world will come to Palestine and build palaces. They would make it a city of palaces. They would make it beachfront properties that look like Dubai with all of that gas money. You know what I'm talking about? Check it out. Gaza's gas fields, a symbol of Palestine's shackled economic potential. So these niggas got potential for them little babies that they blowing up. That's why them babies got to die and whatnot, because they don't want to pass on this gas money to a new generation. They like, fuck that. We just gonna use the provocation of war to kill off all the recipients. Do you see what they're doing? Do you see what they're doing? We want our reparations. They like, you know what? Send them niggas to war. How about that? Send them niggas to war. Let's start up a world war and send these niggas out, right? The same way that our people were waking up in the 60s, growing afros, smoking weed and whatnot, and we was like, fight the power. They was like, send them to war. We can't fight them all. Let's start a war with the fucking Asians and whatnot, and make the front line all of these black, young, intelligent, beautiful, motherfucking potential having men, and kill them all in some fucking jungle in Vietnam. And let's stop this movement and its rising. Let's at least impede it, right? So they hate woke people. They can't stand the woke niggas, right? All of the people that protested and shit. Let's not mention the ratchets and everything. They're like, you know what? We need to start shaving off. I mean, they already showed you with the pandemic what they about and how and who they care for and who they don't. So they like, fuck that. Let's conjure up some wars, sell some stocks. Yo, the stock market for the war shit going crazy right now. I know you EYL niggas is killing the game with your fucking war stocks, with your shit in what's that shit? Kellogg's, Northup, you know, all of them wartime stocks, them shit going crazy. But these are some rich people. Ye are rich, right? So Hamas to allow, right? So Hamas agreed to let the Palestinian Authority develop Gaza's natural gas field, pending U.S. brokered negotiations with Israel, Egypt, and partner companies in exchange for a share of revenues. Did you hear that? Hamas agrees to let the Palestinian Authority, right? So the Palestinian Authority, they don't live on the Gaza Strip. They live in the West Bank. They kind of got beef with Hamas. The Palestinian Authority would be akin to Black Lives Matter, and Hamas would be akin to the conscious community without no woke shit, right? So BLM would be like Palestinian Authority. They be, you know, they fuck with the ops. They be dating the ops, you know. They not with the violence, you know what I mean? They not with the smoke. They keep that shit. They get along to go along, right? That's who Palestinian Authority is in this whole scheme of things, right? And Hamas are more of the hardliners. Netanyahu, he said, fuck these soft niggas. We're gonna help radicalize, and we're gonna help the Gaza people, right? Because the more threatening they become, it helps Netanyahu and the right-wing government, right, get more money, get more power, use more fear tactics, create more opportunities to sell weapons. And the United States of America, they get to keep budgets opened up, and they're selling weapons like they sell crack in the 80s and whatnot. They just want to sell missiles, bombs, guns, and motherfucking tanks. Wherever there's smoke, they pull up because there's a bag to be made, right? So these Israelis are old. I mean, these guys, these people in the Gaza Strip are owed more credit than what they're being given. These are definitely, so now when the Palestinian Authority is seeing Gaza get blown to smithereens, right? These are people that they just negotiated with, right? To allow them to develop the natural fucking gas, right? Keep in mind. Yeah, West Bank is Van Jones. Nigga, the West Bank is Van Jones and Van fucking Lathan, nigga. Isaac Hayes III. All of them is in the West Bank, right? Khaled is over there. Diddy is over there. They all in the West Bank. Unsigned niggas, SoundCloud niggas, they on the Gaza Strip, my niggas, stripping. You know what I'm talking about? But not in the way that you think. You know what I'm talking about? And if we get bombed, like the MOVE organization got bombed, if we get bombed like Fred Hampton and the Panthers got bombed, the organization like us with Karanga and them, they're not gonna do anything. They're gonna wait for the smoke to clear, and then they're gonna assume position. Right? That's what they do. That's how they built. So they already made a deal with the niggas in Gaza. So they like, all right, go and kill them now. So Israel and Egypt, right? Egypt don't want to let niggas in. They like, nah, bomb them. Get them out of here, because there's let me show you, right? Look at that. This is Israel's economic. Look at this map right here, right? Look at this map right here. These are the gas fields in gray, right? Look at the name that they give them. Now, the blue line, right? Jerusalem, Gaza is right here. As you can see, Gaza is right there, right? And that area from Gaza, that gas field right there in Gaza has enough potential to help make them trillions of dollars. Okay? Now, once again, this land that people are like, you know, the Palestinians, they could just leave it alone. How, Sway? There's there's trillions of dollars right off the waters in there, right? Ye are rich. The resources, there's enough resources to basically feed all of Europe. They named the gas field Leviathan. They named another one Sarah. They named one Dalit, Tamar, Mary, you know? So that pipeline that I was showing you earlier, right? The one for the Mediterranean, the East Med pipeline, that shit didn't go through. So once again, these people are still fighting for that gas. So the NATO country, all of the NATO ships is out there and whatnot, they all in the Mediterranean because they're going to square off over resources. This is about resources. So when you think about sending your children or your loved ones over there, just keep that in mind, that they're going to fight over somebody else's resources. And they're also fighting a holy war between light and darkness, and nobody in that room could they can't, their argument or their conversation about light and dark, it doesn't supersede your child's conversation about light and dark and their people and whatnot. We haven't even gotten to that conversation, and these niggas is stepping in the room talking about light and darkness. But when we try to step in the room and say that shit before they said it, then we would get our channel suspended. Then we would get censored and whatnot. Then we would get flagged, and they would tell you, don't follow that brother. He does, you know what I mean? But nah, we were saying that shit, and we know what we talking about. We not assuming the roles of a people that we're not. How could you forget oil? Look, Palestine's forgotten oil and gas resources. A fair distribution of oil and gas resources in the Levant Basin will be needed to achieve a lasting political and economic settlement between Israel and Palestine, right? So Israel is doing everything in its powers. Once again, this is all about greed. They are bloodthirsty to wipe them people out because there's a financial benefit behind it. And they're using the fake act of provocation. They have made that happen. They allowed that to happen. They quote unquote Netanyahu, they planned that, and that shit was all done from within. Facts. And they needed that provocation as a quote unquote catalyst to wipe out all of those people in quote unquote Palestine. I promise you, those areas that they're telling people to get away from and they're bombing into smithereens, I know those areas have something to do with those quote unquote deposits and whatnot. I know those areas are very near to the areas that are off the coast or the Gaza coast and whatnot. So yeah, pay very close attention to the gas face. You know what I mean? Because everywhere that you go, third base, nigga, it's the gas face. It's all about that gas. Okay? But the Gaza Marine, Gaza should be living in a better condition than they are right now, similar to how Haitians should be living in a better condition, similar to our people who sitting on oil and diamonds and all kind of resources and things of that nature. We should be living in a situation because this whole thing is about these lands, and what comes inside of this lands are the wealth that was left to us by our ancestors and from our creator and the earth and whatnot. Every man, woman, man, and child and whatnot, you have to claim a land. That's why they talk about nationality. That's why they talk about claiming land. You can nationalize things like oil and shit like that. You have to claim your land. Them Palestinians, they deserve to fight to the motherfucking end. I wouldn't leave either. I wouldn't leave either. Because if they gotta go run the that's why they like, if we go to Egypt and whatnot, we can't come back home. Because they're gonna take all that shit. There's trillions of dollars off the fucking shore. There's trillions of dollars off the shore, fam. What's fucking with that? Trillions of dollars right off of the shore. You would think that these people are some Flintstones and whatnot. Because the interesting part about what you're saying right now is the Palestinians are living in the Flintstone age and the Israelis are living in the quote-unquote Jetson age. Blew my mind when I looked at the fucking parables and whatnot. They living like Fred Flintstone, pure rubble and whatnot, Barney Rubble. And right over there, right around the corner and whatnot, Israelis are living with quote-unquote Meta AR glasses, damn near got flying cars and whatnot. They chilling, for real, barbecuing it up. They at the fucking beach, massaging and tanning and whatnot. And they doing airstrikes down the block. Shit crazy. But those people ain't no poor people. Those people ain't no poor people. Right? So now I really understand why there's so much quote-unquote provocation against these quote-unquote Palestinians who they make it seem like these are expendable, weak, poor people, right? From the Afro-Palestinians all the way down to the ones that we see that are quote-unquote Arabs and whatnot. Then people are going to stand on their land because their land, not only is it historical and it has its soul connection to them, but the shit is rich in resources. After Israel's latest military operation and the ensuing massive devastation in Gaza, the international community has pledged hundreds of millions of dollars to help with the reconstruction of the Strip. However, a lasting end to conflict between Israel and Palestine will not be possible without long-term investment in Palestine's economic and human development running into billions of dollars per year. An overlooked means of generating these revenues would be to allocate Palestine its fair share of benefits of oil and natural gas reserved in the occupied territories and the Eastern Mediterranean, which are currently being exploited only by Israel. So they already over there raping that shit. You know what I mean? Pillaging that shit in front of them people's face. A recent study by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development points out that new discoveries of natural gas in the Levant Basin are in the range of 122 trillion cubic feet, while recoverable oil is estimated at 1.7 billion barrels. Okay? So they get into it. You know what I'm talking about? They get into it. They got their resources. Since the blockade of Gaza in 2007, the Israeli government has established de facto control over Gaza's offshore natural gas reserves. The contractor, listen, British Gas, has since been dealing with the Israeli government, effectively bypassing the Palestinian government regarding exploration and development rights. Israel has also taken control of the Megid oil and natural gas field located inside the occupied West Bank. Israel states that the field lies west of the armistice line of 1948, yet most of the reservoir is situated beneath the Palestinian territory occupied since 1967. Come on, fam. Come on, fam. And I'm not even here to cap for the Palestinians and whatnot. That's not what I'm here to do. But come on, fam. It's not even about them. It's about this group of people who be running around acting like they the moral authority, and you niggas is out here really Debo and shit, bro. Like y'all really don't play fair at all. I see. Okay. Y'all doing them people like niggas did y'all, but okay. Once again, so when you take away people's gas and oil, they'll never see their full potential. They'll never be able to live comfortably. You live in fear as an Israeli. You have to, it's what they got our people right here on. You won't give back the natural resources. You won't allow, see, I'm reading this shit, but I'm looking at the plight of my people. I'm reading this shit, but I'm remembering the indigenous Indians, the indigenous Aboriginal tribes in places like Oklahoma and Texas was living on huge gas and oil fields. You know what I'm talking about? Texas produces more oil per capita than the whole world. Nigga, there's a whole Texas oil mafia, bro. I'm talking about legit mafia off that oil money. The shit is a whole Halliburton, nigga, Dick Cheney and these niggas, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like Exxon Mobil, like this is a fucking cartel. These is cartels that grew up out of this shit. This is real fucking wealth. You even talking about wealth? We talking billions and upon even trillions of dollars. So the provocation that you see going on is about gas, nigga. It's about resources. All of that Russia shit, all of that NATO shit, all that USA shit, all that Israel, all of that shit is dealing with these people is going to war over the resources to sell that shit back to you. And then on a continent where them motherfuckers just getting hip to what the fuck they got and whatnot, they just becoming hip to the fact that they play a real big power play in a position of things moving forward, especially, like I said, with the new energy, the quote unquote most powerful BlackRock, nigga, BlackRock, the most powerful players are great resetting we're in the great reset. So energy is the reset. So the energy that they're resetting to, these people are going to get taken out so they could be so these people can have control, because the contract of British gas, like I said, Israel, just think Rothschild, that is the British have something to do with that, but think Rothschild. Okay, the Zionists, they're mixing in with these people that you call Jews. You know, think Scrolls, think Secret Invasion. It's not the same people. So the news, like I said, why is no one reporting on this? Why is this not being factored in? A group of people who have been denied water, electricity, and basic food and whatnot, they are surrounded by gas and oil reserves. That's what you're telling me? And then people live in abject poverty, the same way on a continent. People are living on top of all of this wealth and whatnot, and they are living in abject poverty. The same way in South America, people are surrounded by all of these precious stones and metals and all of this wealth and minerals and shit like that, fruits and things of that, but they live in an abject poverty. The same way in the Caribbean, people is in abject poverty. It don't make any sense. So yeah, shit gotta change. Something gotta go. You feel me? Talking about the battle between light and evil and whatnot. And these are some fucking robber barons in broad daylight. In broad daylight. They straight Deboing them people. There ain't no other way around it. How you gonna go ahead and take people gas? You taking their fucking gas reserves, nigga? You Deboing people like that, nigga? You want demon time like that, bro? You know what I'm talking about? So they on demon time. You dig? These niggas on demon time. New t-shirt. Goyim lives matter. Goyim lives matter. They're gonna hate me for that one, but goddamn it, it needs to be said. But this shit is a quagmire. This is a shit show, unlike any shit show. And you know, like I said, there's so many hot irons in the fire right now that could potentially be the firecracker that could make this whole shit pop off. Like this whole shit could pop off just like that. Cause there's a lot of shit going on. And the theater, the stage is almost crowded. It looked like a smack DVD rap battle. The stage is crowded with a lot of players. The Israeli government is holding secret talks with the Palestinian Authority in a bid to develop a gas reservoir located about 36 kilometers from the shores of Gaza, right? They didn't say the shores of Tel Aviv. They didn't say the shore. They said the shores of Gaza, according to Israel's Channel 13 News. So they're holding secret talks with the Palestinian Authority about shit that's going on in Gaza. Like I was saying a minute ago, the Palestinian Authority would be woke niggas that live on the other side of town. They don't have nothing to do with our business. So they sneaking having secret talks with our ops about our gas. So then when we start getting destroyed by our ops, the niggas are quiet. They just started acting up over there in the West Bank, but they're basically quiet. You supposed to pop off that night, nigga. Fuck out of here. You supposed to know what it is. Nigga, it's up. If they banging on my people, nigga, what, they gonna bang on me eventually, so I'm gonna bang first. They didn't even bang. So they quietly, it was some DJ Envy, these niggas are scamming. You know what I mean? They letting their own people die. Because Israel probably promised them the rights to the all of this land. Is, I'll give you a little smidgen of land and some fucking rights to this oil. The Israeli government held internal talks last year on developing the gas field off the coast of Gaza. Talks were renewed more recently following U.S. mediation. Israel said the Palestinian Authority is unable to develop the gas field alone, as legally only states are able to do. Palestine is not yet recognized as a state in much of the international community. A proposed solution would be for Egypt to sponsor the project. Israel, according to Channel 13, has already approached senior Egyptian officials with the proposal. Come on. These niggas are not, they're stateless, they're stateless. They're not even seen. They don't have their full sovereignty. You understand? They don't, that goes to people like black folk. If they start wiping us out, they can't do anything. We don't even have a fucking flag, my nigga. We're not recognized. We're not recognized. That's for another conversation. But that's the truth. But check that out. They scheming on that gas field. And nowadays versus yesterday is more important. The situation with the Ukraine, the situation with the BRICS, the situation with the gas line and whatnot, all of that shit has to do with the fact that they've kind of been pivoting, and this gas reserves has to be tapped. It has to be tapped. The shit that's going on in Africa with the fucking revolts and whatnot, all of that is fucking up these gas lines. So they need that shit right now off of the coast of motherfucking Gaza. And I'm here to let you know, I think other people are in on it. And that makes all of the sense why they turned the other cheek when they got attacked. And when I found out that they had something to do with the formation of Gaza, I'm like, God damn it, them motherfuckers, you probably don't know if they had something to directly do with it. If they 9/11 their own selves and whatnot, I wouldn't be a hard sell, especially with that crazy ass Netanyahu. The Gaza gas fields were first discovered in 1999 in Palestinian territorial waters. The first discovery located about, come on, ye are rich. Imagine niggas is just stumbling upon gas fields. That's exactly same thing in Haiti, right? These places, you would think that these places were poor or without. You would think that these places were desolate. You would think that these places were, poverty stricken and shit like that. You know what I mean? The condition that you see it in at the moment is not initially the condition that it belongs in. Then people deserve a motherfucking chance. You know what I'm saying? So you dealing once again with some exploiters, colonists. You dealing with some motherfucking you dealing with the motherfucking imperialists. There's nothing different than what these people represent than the people that we allegedly is supposed to be on site. I'm not even supposed to be teaching this much about who these motherfuckers are. We supposed to be having a conversation about who these motherfuckers are. But it is what it is. I understand what I'm seeing now. There's many different layers to this. It's not one layered and whatnot. There's double, this is a 3-layer cake. There's different layers to it. There's a biblical aspect to it. There's an economical aspect to it. And then there's also, a regional aspect to it and whatnot. But make art, Best thing you could do in a time like this, make art, create something, make something out of nothing and whatnot. Turn all of this psyops into some art, into some art, a song, a painting, a poem, a storyline or something. You know what I mean? Best thing that you could do in this situation. I would speed it up. That's what I would do. Creatively, I would speed it up. I would just speed up the timeline and just write I would just write down what I want to see happen. They both wiped each other out. Oh shit, the gas field got left to Africans. Afro-Palestinians were the last one standing in. They inherited the gas field, turned that bitch into Wakanda, and then Christ came back on a spaceship. Shit like that. We live in a creative world right now. You have the creative license to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, life is like a Netflix series these days, but we got the rights to improvise on it. But yeah, that's my presentation for the night. I'm talking about. If there's anybody that has any questions, we do have the ability to answer questions easier on Zoom than we have on the boob on YouTube and whatnot. So you could either you could put something in the chat room, or you could open up your microphone and ask a question. I would just ask that we do it one at a time and whatnot.
Hey, Red.
Peace.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I listened to your broadcast, and I think everything you said was right on target. And I had a question about, because you mentioned before that this was an AI war. So do you think that and I heard you say something about World War III. Are we on the cusp of that? And is that because of this new technology? Is that what is bringing all this heat as far as the war and the drama that we have going on?
Well, what you're witnessing right now, as you're looking at the war, is the quote unquote new technology that Israel is rolling out with AI and warfare. For the first year, because starting in November, once November hits, that's 1 year into ChatGPT. So y'all had a year to see what AI does with artwork, You know what I mean? Picture swaps and everything. You got the entertainment side of AI. Now you get to see AI at war. Because it's all fun and games and shit, you know, the commercialization, that's for people that's into entertainment and shit like that. But it's about warfare. You know, war is where the real money is. So, you know, they like, all right, we know what you could do in generative AI. What can you do in that war? What can you do in wars? What can you do with that warfare? We want to see the war. You
So this is
know,
a demonstration of that.
this is a demonstration. I call it a trade show. It's an open air weapons trade show. Do you see the efficiency that the buildings is getting taken down with?
For sure.
Do you see? I don't see, like in old warfare, you would see the bomb drop. I'm just seeing the buildings drop. I'm not even seeing the bombs hit. You
It's
feel
too
me?
precise. Yeah, it's too precise.
Very precise, very preciseness. So that's drone. This really drone technology. A lot of that is drone warfare, heavy payloads and whatnot, and everything is going to be recorded. I'm sure that they have some of the So let's say if they fly a mission with Lockheed Martin's new weapons, they'll probably have a live stream with Lockheed Martin and other potential clients watching the demonstration of the drone in real time blow people up. Like, yeah, this how so they're like, all right, so we're gonna get that because if our citizens were to act up, we want to do to them what Israel is doing to Gaza. So while people around the world is like, oh, that's not right, oh, that's not fair, and there's mad marches and everything, dictatorships, people who don't want to give up power, people who don't want to let the real democracy way of life take over, people who don't want to answer to their people and whatnot, they're going to deploy some of the tactics that an authoritative regime like Israel is doing, right? So Israel is showing colonists, imperialists, and authoritarian regimes how to stay in power with a heavy hand. So yeah,
But
it's an AI war.
But that's what I'm saying though. But how long has the government had their hands on this technology? Because remember, the government they developed these type of technology, then released it to the public, right? So AI may be something new to us that got released in November, but they could have had their hands on this 10 years ago.
Well, they had a form of AI in places like the Pentagon and things of that nature, but we're talking about commercialized AI weapon race. War accelerates technology. Think World War II. They had shit flying. The way the level of the way that they leveled up technology during World War II, from the tanks to the airplanes and everything quantum leaped because of war. War evolves technology. Technology grows off of the friction in society. There's more than one country trying to develop killer AI, right? Or weaponized AI. Now with Israel debuting on the market AI weapons, because once you're gonna see once the ground war happens, that's when you're gonna see the real AI. They're gonna roll out the robo dogs. They're gonna roll out the drones. They fly through buildings, and they're gonna roll out humanoid robots that are gonna go into those motherfucking tunnels. Watch. You know what I mean?
No, you took me back. You took me back though, because remember the Gulf War? Isn't that when they debuted the Patriot missile?
Yes, yes. And now we have the Iron Dome, and the Iron Dome was old, and then what did they debut? The lasers, the iron laser. They got a new name for the shit, right? They just debuted it the other day. So they're testing out all of the new technology in the Gaza Strip. It's really I'm telling you, it's a month-long trade show. It's just an open air, open market trade show with real casualties. Babies are really being blown up. Buildings are really coming down. But the way Israel is like, this is our simulation. We're gonna use them to show our customers what we got for them. Because that's what they're doing. So, like I said, they're gonna roll out the land, they call it land drones. They're gonna roll out land drones to deal with the tunnel, because that's the major thing. That Hamas has a 3,000-mile tunnel system. There's an underground network in the God. These are some genius people. You got to give it to them. Like whatever the fuck's going on, they're different, bro. They're different. They came through paragliding and whatnot. They have a whole underground tunnel network. I'm talking about a subterranean fucking city type shit, right? Tel Aviv and other places in Jerusalem, they have underground cities as well. That whole region is about underground tunnels and cities and caverns and shit like that. That's all up in that area. But the Gaza, they've been very ingenious. They have that's where a lot of the hostages were being held. They said the hostages is inside of the tunnels and shit. So when you think about it, they don't want to go in the tunnel and risk the lives of their soldiers and whatnot. They're gonna bring in they're gonna let the robots go up in there and do some of the hard work. Elon Musk might give them the Tesla robot. Elon Musk might bring the Tesla, because Tesla has a humanoid robot. All of the Jews in the Silicon Valley are on code right now. They've all been deputized, and you're gonna see all of them fight for their mother nation, which is Israel. They all gonna weaponize quickly. You know what I mean? But that's just the name of the game. It is what it is. We just got to know what we're looking at, and we just got to know who is who and who is not. But yeah, AI and war and this new world war, you're seeing it right now.
So you said it's fueling this whole propaganda behind the war.
You mean the propaganda campaign, the lies and whatnot?
Well, the AI, right? The AI is fueling the whole thing, because behind the disguise in the propaganda,
yes,
right, and this AI is really what they're trying to debut.
Well, in a way, we got to also keep in mind that there's a large possibility that the AI is the Antichrist, right? And let me make my case. All of this has to do with Antichrist activity. This whole shit that we're seeing, because it's all centered around the Temple Mount. It's all centered around the quote unquote sacrifice of the red heifers. This whole, it's not me saying, I just played you the clip with Netanyahu, with their leader, their commander in chief. He said this is a war against light and dark, right? He's summoning the biblical crusader they're not even crusaders. They're more so dealing with end of the world prophecy. So end of the world prophecy is talking about the return of the Antichrist. So there's no other figure, or there's nothing else that is on this planet right now. There's no human being outside of King Charles that I could basically say that's in the scope of the world that poses a threat to end humanity and also rule over it and be all-knowing, all-powerful, all-seeing, other than Skynet, or what they call AGI, or what they call artificial general intelligence or super intelligence, when the computer starts thinking for itself, right? So if you got Microsoft, right? Keep in mind, we showed the article where all of them went to the Vatican with the Pope, but the Pope wasn't there by himself. He was with all of the Abrahamic religions. Let me go and pull that up, because that's very important. Give me a minute. That's very important, because people, people don't realize how deep this AI shit goes, you know? And these are all people from the these are all people from Israel. Like in Silicon Valley, most of these dudes that are dealing with artificial intelligence or playing God and whatnot, coming up with this, you know, these are children of the faith, you know. Tech gets religion on AI inside the Vatican summit with Islamic and Jewish leaders, Microsoft and IBM. This is in January, right? So this is before the hype. I was following these stories. This is before the hype. This is before they started coming up with all. There goes the Pope. There goes the Sheik. There goes the Rabbi. And there goes the people from these corporations and whatnot, right? And they said Rome's call for AI ethics. So Rome's call for AI ethics, right? That was originally signed 3 years ago by Microsoft and IBM focuses on 6 principles: transparency, inclusion, accountability, impartiality, reliability, security, and privacy, right? So if that's the case, if they had an AI ethics, why the fuck did they have all of these other things afterwards talking about stop AI? We need to intervene. You know what I mean? AI is gonna do this, gonna do that. Why, you know, if that's the case, y'all was with the Pope, nigga. Don't get no higher than that.
But why are
So
they doing that though? Because you see people like Elon Musk investing heavily in AI, but then coming around saying, well, you know, we need to police it, we need to stop it or whatever. Same thing with Sam Altman.
Right. I had a show called Behold the Pale-Faced Horseman, where I exposed all 4 of them are in bed together. That's all the rules and whatnot. These are all Jewish, Israeli tied individuals who ultimately they're here for singularity. You know what I mean? They're here for transhumanism. They are here to help extend the lives of European men and women to live into their 200s or 250. They're here to stop aging and whatnot. They are here to do anything in their powers to prevent death, right? Yeah, Ray Kurzweil. That's ultimately what AI and transhumanism is ultimately about, is reversing death or fighting death. That's what, you know, I'm going to simplify it. It goes a little bit deeper, but ultimately it is Western man's quote unquote continuous. This didn't just start. His continuous search for the fountain of youth, right? He came over here looking for the fountain of youth. He's still looking for it. His newest venture into some fountain of youth shit is called transhumanism. The motherfuckers is desperate. They're not fucking enough. And they have negative birth rates. And Mother Nature in time is taking over. You know what I'm talking about? Time is like, okay, all right, time is up. All right, y'all had y'all fun. Turn the ovens on and cook these niggas, because it's some unnatural shit that needs to be, you know, purged from the planet. No pun intended. You know what I mean? But that's what's happening. And here's a quick commercial break. Family, Brooklyn 1111, the future of conscious economics. Okay. How to utilize your knowledge, your gifts, your talents to create multiple income streams. The Eventbrite link is in the chat, y'all. It's available for both live stream. I want to see y'all though. I want to see my New York family pull up. You know what I mean? We're gonna have merch in the building, pure exclusive drip for the Scorpion King. The month of November, we're gonna have exclusive Scorpion King drip. We're gonna have some new music, and we're gonna have food and whatnot. You're gonna be able to eat some very healthy, good cuisine. So make sure y'all pull up to Nicholas on Fulton. Seating is limited for my New Yorkers. Make sure y'all get your early bird tickets and whatnot. Go and get that shit right now. Scan it right there with your phone on the QR code. Blow, bling blow. You can scan a bling blow right there. Yeah, I'm talking about this conversation that we having. I'm gonna have my OG, my elders flanking me. Hank Rosin's son, Lloyd Strahan, Mama Kafunya, Mav Gang Gang and whatnot. But we're gonna be talking about the plethora, or what we will call the abundance of opportunities that await our people who want to tap into their gas fields and their gas reserves and whatnot. You know, ye are rich, tap into your oil reserves and mine your mind. You know, you got your own Bitcoin. It's within. So we're gonna be talking to our people about how to close out the fiscal year the right way. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know that there's an economic situation going on right now, aka niggas is fucked up. You know what I'm talking about? Shit done slowed up. Niggas is fucked up. So they need income streams. So my duty as a father, I'm a father of 3. One thing that I do know as a father is that us men gotta provide some plates. We gotta feed the motherfucking babies. So that's what I'm dedicated to that. I'm livicated to that. So I'm coming to New York, 11/11 portal, a straight up portal back in Brooklyn, right on Fulton in the hood in Bed-Stuy, do or die. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be serving up some life. So be there. I need somebody to drop that in the chat though. I'm talking about. So yeah, that's do we have any more questions?
I Red, peace, brother. Where's
Good.
the clothing, the drip gonna be? Where am I gonna be able to get that at? Because I know I'm not gonna make it to New York.
Okay. Yeah, we actually working on connecting the store to this website, to the to Zoom and also to Patreon. And what are we in? October? I think around the second week of November, we're gonna be doing the Kings County relaunch. Yeah. So that'll be I'm making it very easy. It'll be attached to the Instagram, it'll be attached to the Patreon, and the website is gonna relaunch. So I'll let everybody know about that.
Cool, I need that because I'm a Scorpio, man.
Oh man, I got you. I'm gonna hook you up.
November the 1st.
Oh
I know y'all.
man. Okay, so you need that
y'all
fast
is coming
then.
up. Yeah, y'all is coming up the 14th, ain't it?
Yeah, on the 14th. I need that on the 1st. Damn. Yeah, hit me up. Let's work on something because I do got drip though. Let's work something out.
I'm gonna hit you on Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace, God.
Yeah, so for my Scorpions too, man, I want to do something. I want to do something like a online event. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk to my team when I get off of the call tonight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we could do something for All Hallows Eve and whatnot, play some music, because I do got new music and whatnot. I don't think that the album or the project will be coming out on Halloween. I'm more than likely aiming for November 14th. You know, the whole thing with the YouTube kind of threw everything a little bit off balance, the rollout and shit like that. But you know, I do want to do something on Hallows Eve. I want to play my Dead Rapper playlist. You feel me? But it's really my ancestor playlist. I don't like to say Dead Rapper. It's really an ancestor. It's it's a sonic libation. You know, it's a sonic libations. You know, and they deserve to be heard. You did. They deserve to be heard. We could take it back to old school. We could do one of the old school shows that deserves that. But I gotta do the Scorpio playlist, all Scorpio artists, and I also gotta do the ancestor playlist before the end of Scorpio season. I gotta summon up some spirits. I gotta conjure up. Cause Pac is back, you know what I mean? It's a lot of energy back. So we gotta conjure this shit up. I'll keep y'all updated about that. Say less, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk to the team. But yeah, we 3 hours in. Y'all hit that Cash App, you know what I mean? Like I said, we are building out. I'm going to have a meeting tomorrow. They're gonna ask me, Red, what's the budget? You feel me? I gotta be able to tell them something. So I'm coming with my half. I'm never the person to come to anything empty-handed. I already got 5 bands to go to them. But I want to tell them I got about 10 to at least start with, because we not trying to start on no struggle shit. You know what I mean? We want this to be a legit rebranding. We want a whole studio. We want production. You know what I mean? We want our fucking name back. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said before, Melanin Monday and Third Eye Thursdays will become a brand. It will be branded. You know what I mean? We had a good fucking preliminary run. Now it's time to brand the shit out of both of those podcasts, because they both have their own energy and they deserve to live in a bigger platform. So yeah, man. I appreciate y'all. You dig? I appreciate y'all. Yes. Everybody definitely let your peeps know the Patreon is available. We got free access. You know what I mean? We got paid access. It's as simple as pressing the join button. It's not, it's a cakewalk. You know what I mean? Be a part of our community. You know what I mean? Be a part of our community. Let's think community minded. Work as a community. Give it 6 months. I promise you. I always tell people, we can't be so microwavable. Give it 6 months and you will see the results when you agree to move as a community, move as a team, move as a unit, you know what I mean? And accomplish things together. You're gonna really see how that shit works. You know what I mean? It sounds good, but it looks better. So with that being said, peace, love, and light to the family. I'll catch up with y'all. One.